Loving Sairams to you all. Welcome to the regional virtual satsang. On the occasion of Ganesh Chaturthi we celebrated, I pray that the Lord of intellect and the remover of obstacles keep you and your families safe and healthy. There are a couple of announcements before we start today's program. Similar to the Memorial Day weekend retreat with multiple regions, we have another opportunity to meet again during the Labor Day weekend. It will be an online retreat with all the regions to be held on September 5th and 6th. It's called Unity Conference. An email with all the details has been sent to the center presidents and the group leaders that you may have received by now. Please register ASAP to secure your space. To help allow for maximum participation in the event, we may not meet for our usual weekly satsang on Sunday, September 6th. The second announcement is on a national initiative on the introduction to Vahini series. That's going to start from Friday, September 11th. Our region will be focusing on Ramakatha Rasa Vahini. If you like to know more details on what, how, and when, please contact either your Center Devotional Coordinator or the Regional Devotional Coordinator, Dr. Vini Raman. Now on to the main program of the day. Today, we are blessed to have a very special guest speaker, Brother Murali Kotikalapudi, an alumnus of the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, to share his personal experiences on the topic, Swami, the Real Friend. Brother Murali comes from a God-loving family, Hyderabad, India. He came to know of Swami at a very tender age through the Bal Vikas classes, what we call here as SSC, that laid strong foundation of faith and devotion towards Swami. After completing his undergrad degree in engineering, Brother Murali was blessed with the opportunity to join Swami's institute in the MBA program at Puttaparthi in 1988. That's where the real journey on the path of spirituality and inquiry of the self has started. Upon graduation, Swami has graciously allowed him to work in the Central Trust till the end of 1990. After working in India for a few years, and all the while testing, strengthening, and reconfirming his connection with Swami, he then moved to the United States in 1998. When I asked him, Brother, what do you consider the most significant phase of your life? Without any hesitation, Brother Murali said, it was the opportunity to be a student at Swami's school in the presence of the divine. He currently lives in Dallas, Texas, where he works and lives with his family. He is also serving the SSIO organization as the Regional Devotional Coordinator for Region 10. To welcome Brother Murali Kotikalapudi and moderate the speech will be our own, the visible and the invisible force behind Region 3, the Regional President, Brother Balu Karanam. Brother Balu, please lead the way. Saira.
Thank you, Girdhar. Welcome, Murali, for this Sunday satsang. Thanks for accepting our invitation, being with us today. Swami, the real friend, reminds me of a wonderful, Swami's quote. What Swami used to tell about friends. He says, "Manchiyandu manavattvamandu, neetiyandu nindu nijamunandu, acharinchi cheppu. ఆచరించి చూపు ఆదర్శమునెల్ల అతడే యువకుడు అతడే యువతి కాదే అట్టివారే బెస్ట్ ఫ్రెండ్స్ మీకు అట్టివారే బెస్ట్ ఫ్రెండ్స్ నాకు." Swami saying that those who are good, those who are having human values, and those who are trustworthy, those who practice and show, and those who have the ideals, they are the real best friends. They are the best friends to you. They are the best friends to me. Having said that, please tell us how this, your friendship started this wonderful, loving large Sai.
Sairam Balu, thanks for the beautiful definition of the friendship which was given by none other than Swami himself. It's a beautiful thing actually. And coming to this friendship, I didn't know when it started. So when I sit back and think all those things, I say, oh my God, my friendship had started long ago with Swami, which was not intentional by me, but deliberate by him. And in fact, I was recently listening to one of Swami's discourses, and in that one, Swami talked about Navavida Bhakti Margas, and he talked about friendship. Then he said, eighth one is friendship, and ninth one is surrender, Atmanivedana. Then he said, these are not different steps. I mean, these are not different types of devotions. These are the steps. And one step before your surrender is friendship. Unless you have friendship with God, you cannot attain the surrender. Then I was thinking, oh my God. I was thinking, you can choose any of those things. But Swami said to attain surrender, to go with him, one with him, become one with him. Friendship is the key. Then I looked back into my life and said, okay, to be his friend, what are the efforts I have made? And am I really his friend? So that started thinking. Then my flashback, something like you put it in a cassette, rewind it, you'll go back to that one. So I'll just tell you like how my association with Swami came. It all came with Bala because my mother was a very ardent devotee of Swami. She put all three of us, like we have three brothers, three siblings. She put all of us in the Bal because not being completely satisfied with that one, she said, okay, I want to put my children in Swami's education institutions. And at time around the 80s, I think, she started going to Puttaparthi there from 78 onwards. Every month she would go, present herself in front of Swami and Habu sir to seek an admission for my younger brother. And finally in 80 or 81, you know it better than me, I don't remember those days. So that time he got admission into his Ishram High School and he started there. That's the beginning of our physical proximity to Bhagavan. Though we never got any interviews at the early stages, my mother still used to go. And in fact, they have applied for my intermediate admission in 81. And those days, it's very simple actually. You put an application and at the end of the application process, they declare the winners on the notice board. They mention like who all are got into which group. They displayed everything in the notice board. Unfortunately, we did not see that one. We were thinking that we would get an intimation from there. It never happened, so I missed the boat. I thought I missed the boat, but actually Swami had different plans. And he took me for an MBA. And even that one also, there was a lot of stories on that one, but I'll tell you briefly what happened for want of time. My father asked me to apply for that, and my brother sent me an application when I was doing my engineering final year. In Warangal, I was doing my final year. Then my brother sent me MBA application form. He asked me to fill it and apply. I was not interested in applying for MBA there, for sure, because I was thinking of, I finished my engineering here, so let me do something in CAT, right? Let me write CAT and get into one of the prestigious institutions in India. I didn't apply. The last date passed. I went home. When I entered home, the very first question my father asked is, did you apply for Puttaparthi MBA? I said, no. He was a little bit upset and he didn't show anything. And I told him already the last date is over, so there is nothing we can do now on that one. So 3 days later, he said, do you still hold that application? I said, yes, I have the application. He said, go ahead and apply for it. Reluctantly, and knowing fully consciously aware that the due date passed, a week before, I wanted to apply for it because father told me. And suddenly I realized that I don't have my academic qualification certificates, which were lying in Warangal with a college, and that's a summer vacation. Then I told my father gleefully, okay, even if I want to do it, I don't have copies of my 10th class and intermediate certificates, I cannot do anything on it. He said, go ahead and go to Warangal, get the applications and apply for it. I just want to tell you, it's a big process, but what happened is, it's a summer vacation, usually colleges close. I went there, there was an attendant available. When I asked him for a certificate, he said, get the principal's approval. Unless he approves it, I cannot give copies of that one. And to my astonishment, on that vacation day, principal appeared there in the college. He came there for a different reason. He gave the approval. I got the papers. Went to the post office around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and post office on a Saturday closed around 2 o'clock. 3 o'clock, postmaster was personally oversaw and took my application and posted on that day. And I got the hall ticket 3 days before the examination with a note saying that, okay, you have not affixed your photograph in the application. Get 2 copies of your passport photographs and attend the examination on so-and-so date. So this is just in a high level. And the confirmation is, I finished my MBA in 1990, went out, came in 1992, I went to Patti for, I used to go almost every 2 months from Hyderabad to Patti. Professor Nanjandaya, with whom I had long association, one day he was chatting with me and he said, Murali, I wanted to tell you something very personal to you. I said, something very personal which I do not know and you want to tell me? Yeah, go ahead, please. He mentioned it. You have applied very late to the MBA application. And that evening, around 6:30 or 7 o'clock, Swami called me and said, okay, how many students have applied? How many hall tickets were issued? What is the current status? Then I have, because see, those days, and probably I think this is the thing which everyone has to understand, that God is like a photographer. You never know when he's going to click. So you need to be always attentive. And Professor Nanjandaya had the complete figures with him. So this many people have applied, this many applications we rejected, this many we sent hall tickets. He said, no, this is the status as of when. He said, today, Swami. He said, today you haven't checked all the mails. There is one application by so-and-so person. Go and get it to me. And at 7 o'clock, Professor Nanjandaya said, thought to himself, okay, this is too late. I cannot go and ask now. I can go to Swami tomorrow. And 8 o'clock, he got a call from Swami and saying that, okay, I'm still waiting for you. So he sent a messenger like Ranga, I think, yeah, I don't, Rangarao, yeah. Because this is narrated by Rangarao also in a different time. And he said, those days actually the roads were not good and people used to live in mandir, so they went across the hill. He climbed the hill, went there with a torch. He opened and got that applications a bunch. From that one, Professor Nanjandaya took my application, went to Swami around 8:30 in the evening. The Swami said, Emaindi, open chay. Then he opened that one and Swami looked at that and said, okay, he didn't even put the photographs on that one. Send the hall ticket and ask him to affix one on the hall ticket and get the second photograph for our records. Send that letter to him. And so that's the way how I entered. And this is one confirmation. And subsequently, at some point of time, during my first year MBA holidays, when I went to Vrindavan, and Swami was talking to me every day. And after a few days being there, I wanted to go home, because this was my problem all those days. Innumerable incidents happened and there's too much of attention. I could not see so much of focus on me from Swami. I wanted to run away. And that time I gave an excuse, Swami, I want to see mother also. Because next year summer holidays, we'll be doing the project work. So it's basically, practical training. So I won't be going that vacation home. So I have to go and see my mom. And Swami avoided me for 2 days and I kept on pestering in the morning and evening interviews. And Swami said, if you want to go, go. Why you ask me? Then I told him, Swami, coming to you is on my will. But once I come here, it is you have to, unless you tell me to go, I cannot go. I need your permission to go from you. I was thinking that I made a very convincing case for Swami to be happy and send me. Swami looked at me very seriously and said, do you think you came on your own here? Registrar struck your name saying that you are incompetent. I have called you. I have given a tick and brought you here. Or else you would not have come successfully through the interview. So what I'm saying is the friendship. You never know when the friendship comes up. You think that when you get an acquaintance, when you start building the trust between each other, then only the friendship comes. So that's the way how we think of it. But in my case, as Swami mentioned it, he knew me for so many ages. But he wanted to bring me. He wanted to make sure that I start love him. I start loving him. And for that one, he has to put all the efforts. I didn't put any effort. So today when I sit back and think through all those things, I say, oh my God, how compassionate my Sai is. He is putting so much of effort. He really put so much of effort. I'll narrate you some of those examples. Every time I try to go away from him, he'll again pull me and say, okay, I want to talk to you. And in fact, see, friendship is, it is not a trust between two people. More than the trust, what happens is you have to take him for granted. I mean, I remember like Swami was telling in one of those interviews, he said, when a close friend comes to you, you don't get up, go to the door and invite him and ask him whether you have coffee, tea, or something like that. A stranger comes, you do all those things. But when your close friend comes, you said, okay, go inside or go and get coffee. When you're getting coffee, coffee cup for me also. That's what you say because you take that much liberty. A true friend is that. But how you get that friendship? Unless you start trusting each other. And in my case, I have not started that one. He started it, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. So like this, there are so many examples, but this is the way how I went to Puttaparthi.
Beautiful, like, wow. I we always knew that Swami ticks the names those days, for the application. I never. This is the first time I am coming to know that getting the application and asking the student to stick the photograph on the hall ticket as well as get another one. This is really that, giving and forgiving, highest level of Swami. So it's a beautiful, beautiful way he brought you to Parthi. So tell us, I know in the short time telling about all your experiences of your student days will be not that easy, but try to tell us, the best what you learned and how Swami guided you, from the day you joined the college for MBA. Please tell us those wonderful days.
Yeah, I think Swami has to do a lot of work because he knows that I was not so fascinated by him or the college or whatever it is, but he wanted to build the trust. Then he initiated that. And I remember like in my second interview, I think first interview, it's only he looked at me, I looked at him. It's I went with the MBA students, and those times I'm third batch of MBA. So Swami used to call us, and first two batches, Swami went to the college and talked to them. He lectured them. He taught them Indian ethos and great Indian leaders, those kind of subjects. Swami taught them in the classroom. But for us, actually, the teaching happened in the interview room. So there are a lot of creations and talk about management style. You think that Swami is only talking about Indian values, ethos, and something, right? But he talked about management styles, and he said how a student has to behave. All those things he taught us in the interview rooms. So in the second interview, along with all the MBA boys, that was the first time Swami talked to me. And he asked me, "What's your name? Where did you come from?" So actually, when I went there, I knew Swami is one of those gods in the photographs in the altar. That's it, nothing more than that one. But experiencing God in reality is totally different thing. And here Swami is asking. Then for a moment I thought, okay, you are a God. You should be knowing all those things. Why are you asking me? But I have given my answers. As if he was reading my mind, he said, I'll tell you in Telugu actually. ఏమీ లేని తలబుర్రలో ఏదైనా నింపవచ్చు ఏదేదో నిండిన తలబుర్ర అది ఖాళీ అగున ఖాళీ కాక ఇలా సుకృతము నింపవచ్చున. How beautifully he said. I did not understand the meaning of that one. When I started looking back in the last 5-6 years particularly, I started thinking, oh my God, is this the meaning of God? So I had so much of, stubbornness or not kind of affection towards him, not that hatred, but basically I'm not glued to him as God. So he had to cleanse all those things. Then he filled his love on him. So it's a big process, and I'll try to touch here and there and mention those things. And I think this happened in my first year. I was just getting a lot of attention, like in the sense, like I was getting interviews apart from MBA batches also, like separately, individually, I was getting interviews. Then all this, actually, unless you vomit your ideas, clean up your mind, it will not be emptied, right? So one day I wrote a letter to Swami. I remember still 8 o'clock in the morning, I wrote a letter to Swami. And in that one, I questioned, how do I believe that you are God? Basically, because I felt it's a very genuine question. There's no doubt about that he is God, but I wanted to know how I have to imagine you as the Vishnu who is, laying on the Shesha Sayana, that posture. That God, how can I compare you with that one? Or how can you believe that both of you are same? Something like that. I wrote a letter, 8 o'clock in the morning. 9 o'clock went to school. And usually what I do is, students we do is, we write letters and put it in the office room. And Surnarayana, like the office supervisor, he would pick up those somewhere around 10:30 or 11 o'clock and deliver in Mandir. And Swami would see them in the afternoon or whatever it is. Sometimes Swami doesn't even read them. Why I'm quoting this example is, we are in the illusion that Swami, not we are, at least I was under the illusion those days, that Swami has to physically read these letters to understand what I'm writing it. 9 o'clock, I went to college, and there was Professor Nanjundai waiting for me. Swami sent him to talk to me and counsel me and explain who God is. And for showing Viswarupa Sandarshan of Bhagavan, Professor Nanjundai was the emissary. He came there to talk to me. I leave it there, but what I'm saying is, those are the efforts Swami has taken. Two, he doesn't have to read my letter. In fact, physically, that letter did not even reach him. When I was writing it, he was seeing it. When I was questioning him with a sincere intent to understand him, the mother, she melted her heart and she said, okay, this is the time I have to talk to him. This fellow is really looking to me. So I don't want to miss this opportunity. God was thinking that he should not miss that opportunity to teach me a lesson. So that is his love. And like that, so the process started. And what happens is, you look back, actually, you think that there are so many instances Swami wanted to see whether I am worthy enough to have his name or his form in my heart. So there are so many ups and downs. I go very close to him, and he throws me away. And again, I cry. I say, no, Swami, I want to have. I'll let two instances like that before moving on to my job experiences with Swami. And I think first semester, exams were over. Then I took Swami's permission and went home. Then that time, actually, my brother was in Patti only. So 4 days after I went home, and I got a call from my brother saying that Swami is talking about you. I said, what did he talk about me? He said, how is your brother? Anything more than that one did Swami speak? No, he only inquired how you are when you are coming. Second day, I got another call saying that today also Swami spoke about. Then 4 days, my brother every day used to call me in those days when STD was very expensive to update. Okay, this is what Swami was talking. Then I asked him, like, is it that Swami is asking me to come there? He said, he didn't tell me. If Swami tells me, I'll tell you. But Swami only inquiring about you. So my holidays were over. I went back to Patti. As I was getting down from the bus in the bus stand, there were students going back to hostel after the darshan. Some of the students looked at me and said, okay, man, Swami is talking about you. You'll be getting an interview tomorrow itself. The expectations were soared, thinking that I would get it. And next day morning, I went to Swami. He didn't even look at me. He didn't even bother to look at me. And the second day, he avoided completely the area where I was sitting. And third day, actually, I could not bear the prongs of separation from Swami. I was thinking that, okay, Swami, I love you so much. And you were talking about me before I came here. What happened? Why are you not talking to me? So this happened and I cried. And immediately the following day morning, something else also happened. And finally, next day morning, Swami called me for interview. And he described, okay, you have done that, you have done this, and this is, you're going away from Swami. This is the beauty of a friend. He explains you your mistakes. He corrects you. And I would not have understood him, I would not have taken him seriously if he had spoken to me when everything was good. Because of the separation, my intensity of love increased and I could take it more. And I tell you, like the same thing happened. Uh, Swami asked me to come for, after my education, Swami asked me to come for Guru Purnima to Patti. I went there and Swami talked to us the very first, as soon as I got down and went and sat in the front row, Swami called me to the interview. Like morning 6:30, Swami opened the door. Even he stepped out, he called us inside. 5 hours went inside for prasadam distribution. Usually prasadam distribution happens a little later after Swami's darshan. But this time, along with Swami, prasadam also came. So Swami spoke to me for 2 days, and after that, he completely stopped talking to me for 2 more days. I thought, okay, I have to do something extraordinary to get his attention. What I have done today, when I think about that, it looks very silly. I said, I have to be awake one night thinking of him so that he would think of me. Because the intensity, when you skip your sleep, and that time actually intensity is more. So I was thinking, and for that, what I thought, let me walk from Puttaparthi to Kottacheru and come back so that the whole night will be done. So if I sit at one place, I'm asleep. Even if I want to read something, I'm asleep. Watching videos is out of question those days. The only thing is, let me walk down to Kottacheru and come back. So I packed my bags with peanuts, which I love so much even today also, and 2 water bottles with me. In the pitch darkness, there are no lights on the streets in Kottacheru, except occasional bus lights you see. And when you see the bus, actually you see on the road. Till then, nothing, no moonlight. I walked, came back. And morning 4 o'clock, I reached Puttaparthi back, entire journey. And 4 to 5 till 5 o'clock or something like that, they don't open the gates. 1 hour I sat in the thinking that, okay, let me sit in the bus stand for 1 hour so that I can go and sit in front of Swami and present myself with a lot of excitement, I have done something for you, now you see for me. That 1 hour I sat in the bus stand, I slept. So Swami did not talk. But what I'm saying here is the intensity of love. Initially I said, right, in your mind you have so many thoughts. In this 2 years period, Swami removed all those things. He filled love. Or else imagine a guy 2 years back, how I was in the first interview, I never bothered to take Swami Padma Namaskar. From there, how it changed. So these are the different things, actually Swami kept on testing me, making sure that my mind is clear of all the old dirt, and he put his love gradually, little bit. So that's the way how I started seeing him as my companion, my friend. I think there are more experiences, but yeah. So those are my experiences about student days. There are a few more examples also, but I'll pass on for want of time.
How about Swami? I remember Swami is asking you to join and work in very close to him in Central Trust. How that started, and how did Swami guided you there?
That was actually a kind of different experience, because there are around 40 to 45 students. We call them as waiting boys, waiting there. And I went on Guru Purnima day, and 4 to 5 days, Swami kept on saying, all of us, your parents are waiting for you. Earn money, go. You have got your certificates, education. Earn money and get married. Do all the stuff so that your parents will be happy. You will also be happy. And none of us paid any attention to that one. And one fine day, Swami called Kayaldas and said, okay, buy tickets for all these boys. if they don't go to their respective houses, tie them to the bus and throw them away. We just smiled at him, thinking that, okay, Swami is only joking with us. And he asked us to get the vibhutis he wanted to distribute. None of us moved from that place, thinking that, okay, the moment we take vibhuti, that means, okay, we are accepting to leave. Swami himself walked into the interview room. He brought the basket and he started distributing vibhuti. And a lot of people could not say no. They took it. When he came and gave me the vibhuti, I did not accept it. So he put it in my pocket. I took it back and again put it in the basket. And Swami was very, very furious, apparently. He showed that anger and said, Swami's name is not different from Swami's word. If you do not respect Swami's word, why you need Swami's form? Then I said, Swami, I was really taken aback because I was thinking that, I'm doing a very great thing by conveying my intensity of living with him, staying with him and working there or doing whatever it is, but I want to be in his physical proximity. I wanted to send a strong message. Swami retorted much stronger. So I said, Swami, that is not our intention, but at the same time, we don't want to leave this place from the veranda. Call us for an interview and tell us what we have to do and let us know that you are confident that we will remain your students forever. Then only we'll go out. Next morning, Swami called us for interview and he told what we have to do. And that day, people started leaving because Swami clearly mentioned what we have to do. 3 of us remained and Swami gave 3 of us jobs. So I'll narrate one more incident actually because how the trust between two individuals happened. Swami has been giving me. So one day I used to work in accommodation office, and one day I was working in accommodation office. I wanted to have the complete database of all the people who are in permanent residence in Mande. And I asked my boss, do you have any list of it? He said, everything is here, brother. Whatever you want, tell me, I'll give the address. I said, that doesn't work out. I want to be on the paper. He said, you go and inquire. You build the database on your own. So I started going to different shops and ask who are the permanent residents, names, which room they're living, all this stuff. 1 week later, my boss called me and said, okay, you know what you are doing? By going and talking to everyone, people are thinking that the upcoming Dasara, Swami is planning to distribute clothes for all the permanent residents. Hence, you are collecting the stats. I said, I never told anyone like that. I said, whether you tell or not, this is what people are expecting it. I was taken aback, I didn't know. That was not my intention. But tell you, Balu, on Dasara, Swami called all the residents and distributed clothes for ladies and gents. I have not asked. Basically, he is giving me an assurance. You go ahead and do whatever you think is good. I will be there to support you. With these kind of assurances again and again and again and again, why don't you think that Swami is your friend? He is. That trust relationship he is giving time and again. There are innumerable incidents which actually gave me that confidence. He is with me all the time. So those are some of the job experiences.
That brings to my second question, Murali. Having heard your wonderful interactions with Bhagavan as a student, how difficult was to leave Puttaparthi and this real friend Swami and go to Hyderabad and settle down there? Please tell us your experience after leaving Puttaparthi.
In fact, I didn't feel that was difficult. In fact, I wanted to go away. Strange because the amount of love Swami showed, and there was at times actually I wanted to leave Puttaparthi, stay with Swami when he went to Vrindavan. And when I wanted to go, actually a lot of people clearly told me that no, it will not work out. Swami will not let you come back if you go there without Swami's permission or without Central Mandir Secretary's approval. I said, okay, my love is for Swami. I want to go with him. I went there and I came back with Swami in car behind Swami's car. So it is always how much you love Swami and how sincere you are in your love with Swami. So I experienced it, and over a period of time, actually, I got a feeling that okay, he is with me. And one day I went and asked Swami, I want to leave. I want to go and work outside world. And Swami finally conceded, and he gave me an interview. And from my batch, I was the first and last person to get an interview and leave in a dignified way. The rest of the people left taking Padnamskar and Vibhuti in the veranda. But every month after going to Hyderabad, I used to come to Puttaparthi. And I don't know whether you believe it or not, actually. Whenever the bus enters Kottacheru and you see that Hanuman statue, I used to get goosebumps. I'm going to my hometown. I'm going to see Swami. Invariably, first 2 years I had that feeling very intently. And so long I had that feeling, Swami responded exactly in the same way. Swami used to talk to me in the veranda, not in the interviews room. And I used to get special every time I go there and stay for 1 or 2 days. I at least invariably 2 special songs, either Kumar or someone would sing on those days. I mean, I used to get a feeling that it's an indication that our bondage is still very, very strong. I'll give a small example because there are so many things happen in my life, and I have done a lot of things in keeping him in my mind all the time. But what I want to tell here is only to show that how much love he poured in to cement my love for him in my heart. Every time he says, okay, I'm with you, I'm recognizing you. This was in 92, Shivam Swami came. And I think Giridhar is also from Hyderabad. 92 Swami came to Shivam. And subsequent, I don't know whether he went there or not, but when he came there, I was little semi-active in Shivam. It's not that I'm not so active to sit in the front rows, but at the same time, I was not nobody to sit in the back rows. So I got some opportunities to work in the area where Swami is around and all that. But not a single moment he looked at me. Forget about talking or giving Padnamaskar. He never looked into me. And the day Swami left, time has approached, and he was taking Aarati. There is actually in the Shivam main hall, and there is a bhajan hall. In between, Swami was standing, car was there in between. He was taking Aarati and about to get into the car and go away. So I was literally in tears. Why my love, my Swami is not looking at me, not talking to me. So crying so much, I went upstairs bhajan hall, and there was a bridge between Shivam and the upstairs bhajan hall. I was standing there and looking down at Swami and said, okay, what happened to you? Are you not the same Swami? We had so many good memories. No, I was telling him, we had so many good memories. Did you forget all those things? Why don't you even talk to me now? I was literally in tears and saying that, okay, why are you behaving like this? You don't believe it actually. Swami just walked all alone by himself into the bhajan hall, lower bhajan hall, climbed up the stairs and came to the upper bhajan hall. No one was there. Everyone was downstairs actually around Swami. He was all alone by himself without any following, came all alone. I was standing there. He just passed by me, not even looking at me. But while passing by, his robe touched me deliberately. And he just went down through the stairs, circular stairs, got into the car and went away. So it gave me immense joy because the moment I was feeling that I was left out, my Sai is forgot all those good memories. Like, I don't want to compare myself with the Gopikas and Krishnas, but that kind of feeling. And he is there, okay, I have not forgotten you. You are with me. So these are the memories. Wherever I go, they haunt me. And they tell me, okay, Swami is with you. Swami is with you. And the same thing happened after Samadhi also. When 2011 April Swami left the body, I was in St. Louis and I could see only everything on the TVs. I went in June, July, at that time actually I went there, and that time they cordoned the complete area, they covered it because they were constructing the Samadhi. And that was the last day when I went there. They covered that entire Samadhi with vibhuti and flowers. And I wanted to take a look at that one. I went and spoke to some of the students who are permanent residents there then. Said, I want to see that one. They said, you have to go and get the approval from somebody. I went to that somebody and he said, okay, I cannot give you that approval. You need to go and ask Chakravarti sir. I was thinking that, okay, this is my place. This is my Swami. To see Swami, do I need someone's permission? Yes, it was needed because it was completely covered with wooden structures and it was locked. So thinking so, next day morning I went to the Samadhi and Reddy Garu was there. And I knew him, but I don't know because thousands of students passed away, passed one after the other, those batches. And I don't know whether he remembers me or not, but I went and told him, sir, I came from US and you are not even letting me to see Swami. And I said, okay, I want to see because I don't know when I'll come back again. By the time I come back here, everything is covered, but I want to see the physical location. You don't believe it actually. He took me personally inside and showed me that place, and he gave me the vibhuti from that place, and he gave me huge petals, a cover. He packed himself and gave it to me and said, take it to your hometown and distribute to those people. Again, I don't know, because all these examples are giving an affirmation that when you want to see me, why you have to ask somebody else? Ask me with your heart out. I will make it happen. So it is not important that Swami is physically there or here, or physically not even there. So long he is in your heart, he will listen to you. He is omniscient. You don't never have to doubt his capabilities. Omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, whatever it is, you can attribute all those things to the attributeless form. But if you have faith that he is here, he'll take care of you. So those are my experiences, post Mahasamadhi.
Wonderful, Murli. That nice to hear that. That that makes me to talk about one important, question regarding friendship. We say God is our real friend. We all started loving Swami. We all started, he is the only one, and we came to centers and we work in organization. What happens is when we are in a Sai center and Sai organization, we get to know people who have just come like us, loving Swami, and then there are these friendships develop because of knowing each other. They're mere acquaintances, I call it, but then we get to know them, then we get attached to them. Sometimes what happens is these friendships grow over the center as well as the organization, and we feel we are attached to their kind of thinking, even though we came for Swami to the centers. How do we avoid this? We come to centers to get the detachment, but we get attached to some of these friendships. Please tell your thoughts about it.
Yeah, this is very interesting perspective, and every individual has to think what is important for that person. And I'll tell you a small example, like how Swami gives importance to this kind of sensitivities. Swami always says, okay, your heart is not, multiple sofa, it's a double sofa, triple sofa, not, you can accommodate any number of people. Once God enters inside, you make sure that only God is there. And I'll tell you a small example. At one point of time when I was there, Swami, there were 3 people used to stay in the night in Swami's room. And Swami always says, okay, you have to think of Swami all the time. You need to talk less, think more, and wherever it is necessary, then only you have to talk. So all those things Swami teaches. He teaches that to everyone. And imagine a person who is physically staying with Swami, how much he has to follow that one. And there was one boy who was completely immersed in love for Swami, nothing else actually. He sees Swami in everyone actually. He says Sai Ram and he talks with the same emotion to everyone. With the same emotion he talks to Swami. So nice guy, but he talks very, very little. I mean, similar to Radhakrishna sir. I had some good fortune to talk to him, interact with him. And one day, there was a boy who was in that room. He was talking to this guy and he was reluctant to answer. He was just smiling and keeping quiet. And it happened 3-4 days. And fifth day, Swami came, and in the middle of the night, he asked the other boy to leave the place immediately. Swami was very, very upset. You could see the guys who were there, actually, they were explaining. Swami was completely red faced. He said, what is the purpose of you coming here? You are not treating God as God. You are not giving any importance. Even in the physical presence of God, you are misusing Him, that opportunity. Why I'm saying this one is, Satya Sai organization is a sofa, is an opportunity, is an area where we can all work together, think together to instill Him in our hearts. And any effort to destabilize that one is not warranted. Every one of us have to think, what is important for me? Is Swami important, or the external acquaintances important for me? And also, when you talk to someone, actually, when you are attached to someone, think, is this effort, or talking to so and so guy, or moving with so and so guy, or doing a specific activity, would lead me close to Swami or drive me away from Swami? What is, because if you have come to such an organization with the very purpose of making social gatherings, social friendships, there are so many organizations. You don't have to worry about that. But when you come here, every effort should lead you close to Him. If that is not happening, either organization is bad or you are not in the right place. So I today actually, why I'm saying this one is, the last 5 to 6 years I've been thinking of what Swami has given me. He has given me enough. And I'll tell you, actually, I don't want to give personal request what's from me to Swami. But today, actually, when I ask Swami, I want this, it'll happen immediately. I don't have to think twice because I've seen so many experiences. I asked something which I felt I was not worthy of getting that one, but it came. So when it was coming, actually, I was very skeptic and said, okay, probably I may not bear this. So I asked by mistake, so don't give it to me. But it came because I have once asked and I have committed to that one. Today I'm very scared to ask anything to Swami because if I ask something, it will happen. In the retrospect, I'm just thinking, what am I giving back to Him? Now, this is the one actually, for the last 5-6 years, it's lingering in my mind. What am I giving back to Him? So that is probably every devotee have to think. And today I think that, okay, Swami, you have proved your friendship to me. It's my turn. I have to prove that I'm worthy of being a friend to you. I need to live. See, this actually exactly talks about what you have mentioned at the beginning. A true friend is the one who follows His dictum, thinks always of Him, walks in the way God has walked. And all these years He taught me in which direction He's going. He taught me what is good, what is bad. And when I was going back in the wrong path, He brought me back and put me on the rails and again gently pushed me so that I can move on the track which He already set for me. If I am not following that track and following some other track, I'm doing a disservice to our friendship. It doesn't mean that I am His friend. So every moment I strive to be His friend, be in His thoughts, be in His own messages so that I can live longer happily in His path. I don't know whether I have answered your question completely or not, but actually this is what my heartfelt feeling. I am here for
Beautiful.
Swami.
I totally agree with you. Like, our heart is not a musical chair. That's what Swami always used to say. And when we come in to serve Him, it is Swami and Swami alone. We should never go, divert ourselves from after, you come to know somebody, but Swami is more important. Hold on to Swami, hold on to the organization. See, like, organization is Swami. Like Swami says, Sai Samstalu Veru Kadu. He told once in the discourse. Sai and his organization is not different. Sabhyulanu Samstalo Cherchuvad Sai. Actually, he is the one who brings. These are all the beautiful, messages Swami gave long ago. As students, we sat and, heard about it. We never thought we will be sitting like this one day here and thinking about those things. See, he set these things. Only thing is, we feel like, we forget. As you know, he is the real friend, and we are forgetting that friendship. We are not worthy of that God's friendship, kind of. How to rise ourselves to, to be his friends. Yeah, this is beautiful. And tell us,
Actually, sorry, go
okay,
ahead.
go ahead. Yeah.
Actually, this musical chair and సభ్యుల్ని సంస్థలో చేర్చువాడు స్వామి అన్నప్పుడు actually just thought about another example Swami has given.
Mhm.
You buy a ticket and board a train for a certain destination. Okay, I want to go to a certain destination. You're going on the way, and all of a sudden you see beautiful scenery. Or during your journey, you develop an acquaintance with someone who is very nice and appealing and interestingly talking to you. And unfortunately or fortunately, that guy's destination has come. He's walking down, he's getting down. And at that time, mindful of your destination is still not come and is still far off, would you go with him? Or just because you like a beautiful scenery, would you get down from your train and get into that place? If that is your motto, yes, acquaintances are accepted. But this example will give us an idea where our destination and what we are doing it. This kind of example Swami has given probably for us only, to constantly remind that think of your destination all the time.
Yeah, that was a wonderful example, actually. Um, Tell us how Swami learnings at Lotus Feet helped you in your corporate life, or in your work. Few examples. How did he guided you in some kind of situations?
Quite a few actually. The single most teaching which he has given me is think of me, I'll take care of you. Even actually when I was working in Puttaparthi also, 3-4 times actually I have went ahead and did something without understanding the implications of that one. And someone else reminded, okay, these are the implications of that one. But still Swami corrected that one. In SSC also, when I was a SSC teacher for some time, I was talking to the teachers and the students also one point actually. Those are Swami's children, not your children or someone else's children. When they come to SSC, they are Swami's children. Swami brought them. Swami joined them into SSC without your knowledge and without their knowledge also. The way how I went to Puttaparthi, like without our knowledge, Swami brings them. So it is our responsibility to teach his curriculum to them, not our curriculum or something imposed on us to teach. So basically those values we have to teach them because they're Swami students. And you need to keep him happy all the time. So that's in the corporate life also same thing happens. I want to stand by truth. Okay, this is correct. This is what's going to happen. And okay, this I'm almost 25 years into this corporate world. I went through a lot of things, but the last few years actually, when I look back and say, okay, what is going to happen if I stand by truth? The only thing is, if you are attached to the job or if you are attached to the different activities, then only you compromise on your activities. Imagine that Swami is with you all the time. He is guiding you and he is there to correct you, even something you think goes wrong also. Unfortunately, we don't believe that one. I did not believe it actually. That's what I'm saying. In the last 5-6 years, I started thinking, okay, this is what Swami wants me to do it. Let me go ahead and do that one. This confidence is the main thing Swami taught me all through my years with Swami, and even after coming here. Like the Hyderabad example which I have given it, Swami. And today also here, actually, when I was between the jobs, I wanted to buy a house and wrote a letter to Swami. Swami, I want to buy the home. That time I didn't have a job actually, but I had a desire to buy a home. And after that, I went and signed the agreement and told Swami, okay, I'm buying this house. Exactly, this is the house I want to buy it. And after that, how many ever times I wanted to cancel that one, it did not happen. So what I'm saying is, he is there. He is there. He's always looking at you. He's always want to listen to you. He was always want to rescue you from any of the issues. Unfortunately, we don't have faith in him. Today, I talk to you. Even if you ask me my experience, I can speak to you for 24 hours. But if I don't have that faith in me, this is a continuous evaluation. You need to go step by step. I'll tell you one more example actually. I had an eye surgery. So I know that Swami would take care of it. Before going to the surgery, I would pray to Swami, Swami, please take care of it. That prayer was on the lips only, I realized when I came back home, because before going to the operation theater, the anesthesian, he looked at my BP and said, okay, why you are having so much high BP? It's a very minor surgery. It'll take 10 minutes. That's it. Don't even worry about it. But internally, I was so tensed. When I came back, that operation theater, I was just thinking on the way home, say, don't I have faith in Swami? I don't have faith in Swami. So this is what actually I want to tell you. Brothers and sisters, all of you, think how true you are to Swami. He is in our hearts. He is nowhere else. He is in our hearts. We don't recognize him. Even if you recognize him also, we don't completely believe that one. Even if you believe that also, you don't follow him. So this is the main issue. I'm no different. I'm not different. I'm evolving. But compared to what I was 5 years back, with all my experiences, when I sit back and ruminate, I think, okay, Swami is so dear to me. He is omnipotent. Why can't I trust him blindly? This is what actually I wanted to improve. Probably. Hope that answers your question.
Yes, actually, that really answers, and that really gives the, if you look at the devotees from old times, like 40s, 50s, they had just blind faith. That's why Swami loved them, and they had wonderful experiences with them. See, I still remember one of my grandmothers saying to me, saying that, "Niki iyalante intiki vachistadra." In the sense, if he wants to give, he will come to your home and give. You no need to go and wait for him. Swami, please give or something. See, that's what they believed in. That's what they lived in. He responded the same way. See, God is always, like how you feel. What's that? Yad bhavam tad bhavati, Swami says. See, that really, your answer brings us there. And also, I still remember, as you were saying, the first 2 batches of MBA, Swami taught the man management, that entire discourses. That was, in the institute, foyer, actually, where we used to go gather for our prayer. That's where Swami used to, give those discourses, actually, all those management. As a science students, we used to sit there and think why we are learning management. But if this is a general question those days, but later on, now I realize that even scientific research is also management. Swami, unknowingly trained us. We are hearing that continuously. Every Swami used to come to college and give this discourses, actually. So that's the way the management at Parthi, the training at Parthi is directly from the God
God
who
himself.
manages the everything, actually. So with that, any final
No, you're talking
words
about,
from you?
you're talking about old devotees have so much of innocence and love for Swami, right? I'll give a small example of Kasturi Garu. Swami had given him one ring, and he took that ring, and one day he realized, okay, that ring is bent, something, it was not fitting into his finger. So he went to Swami, and Swami, this ring is not correctly working. Then Swami said, okay, give me that ring, let me blow it and change it. He said, no, Swami, if you blow it, the ring may vanish. So give me another ring, then I'll give this ring. So that kind of innocence and love they used to have for Swami. And similarly, actually, when I was in Vrindavan, Swami gave me a watch. And he told me very clearly that people are jealous of this, so don't show this watch to anyone. And taking that watch, came out of that interview room. In Vrindavan, actually, there is a small bridge interview room. So you come from that one. I came there, as soon as I came out, there was so many students, they started touching your neck and finger and all the stuff. Watch, you cannot hide it. They saw it, and out of excitement, I was also showing them. Swami came through the main door of Trai Vrindavan. From there, actually, he showed his finger like this, okay? What were you doing, fool? That night, actually, the watch broke. The chain came off. And a few senior lecturers and some of us actually, we tried to fix it. It didn't work. And next day morning, I took it to Swami and gave it to him. Swami, fix it. Swami said, what I told you, what have you done? That's the reason why it happened. He said, I know what I have done, Swami, but please fix it. I cannot wear this one and go outside. And Swami said, no, I will not give. So I have given it, and then he told me, I shall take this one. And once we go to Puttaparthi, I'll give another watch. So I gave it back to him. I put it in his chair and came back from the personal interview. So it is your pure innocence, your love, your affection. He'll respond exactly the same. Yeah.
Yeah, on that note, actually, thank you, Murli, for giving us this wonderful opportunity to hear you. I know we can spend some more time, and hope we'll hear you again and again. With that, thanking you again for giving us this opportunity.
Sairam, thanks for
Sairam.
this opportunity for you and all your members. Sairam.
Sairam, Brother Murali. First of all, let me express my sincere gratitude to Swami for giving us this opportunity to meet with you. I couldn't help noting down a few pointers for my own sake from your sharing. First one, that finding your own personal connection with Swami is extremely essential. Watching videos, speeches, or even having the great fortune to be there in physical presence of Swami, that's all fine. But at the end of the day, what does that mean to you? That's the question. You also said God is like a photographer. You never know when he captures your picture. So be aware, be alert always. And your admission process to the MBA program, how Swami himself picked your application in spite of a few omissions. It proves to show that when God wills it, it shall happen. In fact, everything happens at his will. You also mentioned that friendship is formed and strengthened on only one thing, trust. There shall be no room for doubts. We may go through that doubting, testing, all those things initially, but once it is all confirmed, let there be no more second guessing. You also said that we must empty our heads first, so Swami's love can fill it completely, satiating it. When our minds are filled with ego, arrogance, and patronizing and presumptuous tendencies, where is room left for love? And you touched on relationships in life. Are they bringing us closer to Swami's teachings or drifting us away farther and farther? We must inquire that frequently. Finally, Swami and Swami's words are not different. They are one and the same. Thank you so much again for sharing such invaluable life lessons. We thank you and Swami for this blessing. Also, thank you, Brother Balu, for helping with moderating the speech, as always with your unique style of sense of humor and spontaneity. Thank you. Now we go on to the next part of the program, devotional singing. Sairam.
ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। 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 ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्।
पाप हरो तुम जग के स्वामी,
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 कृपा बरसाओ भगवान,
कृपा बरसाओ भगवान,
कृपा बरसाओ शरण मिलो साई
मिलो साईं,
शरण मिलो साई
मिलो
भक्त जनावन साई जनार्दन,
जनार्दन साई जनार्दना,
भक्त जनावन साई जनार्दन,
भक्त जनार्दन साई जनार्दन,
पार करो भगवान,
पार करो भगवान,
पार करो भगवान,
पार करो भगवान,
Amen. Amen. Swami, hear your children's prayer once again. Swami, hear your children's prayers once again. We'll be honest, we'll be fair, Lord, we'll love you anyway. We'll be honest, we'll be fair, Lord, we'll love you anyway. We'll be honest, we'll be fair, Lord, we'll love you anyway. This is your children's prayer, amen. This is your children's prayer, amen. Sai, this is your children's prayer, amen. 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 Swami, hear your children's prayers once again. We'll be honest, we'll be fair, Lord, we'll love you anyway. We'll be honest, we'll be fair, Lord, we'll love you anyway. This is your children's prayer, amen. Sai, this is your children's prayer, amen. Amen. Amen.
Sai Rama, your eyes, I am caught in your eyes, Sai Rama.
Your eyes, in your eyes, Sai Rama.
Sai Rama, सीतापति रामचंद्र की जय, सीतापति रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, पराक्रम आंजनेय 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 की जय, पतिपुरी साईनाथ की जय, पतिपुरी साईनाथ पतिपुरी साईनाथ की जय, पतिपुरी साईनाथ पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, सीतापति रामचंद्र की जय, सीतापति रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, पराक्रम आंजनेय की जय, पराक्रम आंजनेय की जय, पराक्रम आंजनेय की जय, पतिपुरी साईनाथ की जय, पतिपुरी साईनाथ पतिपुरी साईनाथ की जय, पतिपुरी साईनाथ पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।
भस्म विभूषित भवानी शंकर, भस्म विभूषित भवानी शंकर, भोला शंकर, हर हर शंकर सांब शिवा, हर हर शंकर सांब शिवा, हर हर शंकर साई शिवा, हर हर शंकर साई शिवा, भस्म विभूषित भवानी शंकर, भव भयनाशा भोला शंकर, हर हर शंकर सांब शिवा, हर हर शंकर साई शिवा, ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो, 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 भस्म विभूषित भवानी शंकर।
जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे, हरे समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः भूर्भुवः सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् अशीमवहु वहिष्ठेमस्ति उष्टास्ति उष्टाहमय शतशाय वहिष्ठायशि नमो तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि श्मा इस्राएल अदोनाय एलोहेनु अदोनाय एहा अदोनाय एहा अदोनाय एहा Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. La ilaha illallah, Allah, Allah. 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 साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति 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 परमं पवित्रं भावाविभूतिं परमं विचित्रं
Sairam, thought for the week. Embodiments of love. Love is in you. It need not be acquired from outside. Worldly love is based on worldly relationship. Whomever you love your own reflection. It is a mistake to think that you love someone else. You point to somebody and say, "He is my friend," but in fact, God alone is your true friend. He will never betray you. Sometimes you may doubt your true friend, but he will never doubt you or forsake you. Your feelings may change according to time and situation, but God is changeless. He always has the feeling of oneness. Once you consider God as your true friend, everyone will be friendly toward you. Truly speaking, you have no enemies. There is none other than you in this world. When there is no second person, how can there be an enemy? All are like passing clouds, but you think they are permanent and repose your faith in them. Consequently, you're unable to have faith in God, who is pure and selfless. You're forgetting the divine love and getting intoxicated with the deep wine of worldly love. Divine Discourse, 17 October 2004. Baba.